In a world where every phone holds a camera, and every moment is instantly captured, shared, and stored digitally, it's almost impossible to imagine a time when photography was a luxury, a complex process, or even a privilege. But there was a time. And there was one company that didn't just democratize photography, it became synonymous with it. Its name evoked warmth, memory, and the vibrant colors of life itself. That company was Kodak. For over a century, Kodak stood as an unshakable titan, a global powerhouse whose very brand was embedded into the fabric of human experience. From birthday parties to historic moon landings, Kodak film and cameras captured the defining moments of generations. Yet, with a cruel twist of irony, the very company that invented the technology poised to redefine photography for the digital age was the one that ultimately failed to embrace it, leading to its spectacular decline. How could the innovator become the ultimate casualty of its own invention? This is the story of Kodak, the company that invented digital photography and, devastatingly, chose to ignore it. The journey of Kodak began not with a flash, but with a simple vision, almost 140 years ago, in the mind of George Eastman. Eastman, a high school dropout and bank clerk, was frustrated by the cumbersome photographic processes of his era. In the 1880s, photography required heavy equipment, fragile glass plates, and a darkroom setup. Eastman envisioned something simpler, something for everyone. He wanted to put a camera in every home, a goal considered radical at the time. In 1888, he launched the first Kodak camera. It was preloaded with a roll of film, capable of taking 100-round exposures. Its revolutionary slogan? "You press the button, we do the rest." Customers would send the entire camera back to Kodak, which would develop the film, print the pictures, and return the camera reloaded with new film. This simple, elegant solution wasn't just a product, it was an entire service ecosystem that unlocked photography for the masses. Suddenly, capturing life's moments was no longer the exclusive domain of professional photographers. Eastman's innovations didn't stop there. He introduced flexible roll film, which was crucial for the development of motion pictures. The iconic Browning camera, launched in 1900, made photography truly affordable, costing just $1. It became a cultural phenomenon, selling millions and introducing countless children to the joy of taking pictures. Then came Kodachrome in 1935, which set the standard for color photography for decades, its vibrant hues immortalized in songs and countless family albums. By the mid-20th century, Kodak wasn't just a company, it was an institution. It held a near monopoly on film sales, dominating markets worldwide. Its research and development facilities were legendary, attracting the brightest minds in chemistry and engineering. Kodak stock was a blue-chip investment, its headquarters in Rochester, New York, a beacon of industrial might and prosperity. Kodak was, quite simply, photography. Its success seemed unassailable, its future as bright and permanent as the perfectly preserved images its products produced. But the seeds of its undoing were already being sown, ironically, within its very own walls. The year was 1975. Inside Kodak's sprawling research labs, a young engineer named Sasson was given a challenge. Could he build a camera that didn't use film? Sasson, working with a small team, spent a year cobbling together a device using various existing components. He took a portable movie camera lens, combined it with a digital cassette recorder, batteries, and a custom circuit board, all connected to an experimental charged coupled device, or CCD. The result was a clunky, toaster-sized contraption, weighing nearly 8 pounds. When Sasson pressed the button, it took 23 seconds to record a single black and white image onto a digital cassette tape. To view it, the tape had to be played back on a custom player connected to a television. The image, a mere 0.01 megapixels, was crude, pixelated, and took another 23 seconds to display. It was far from instantaneous, far from high quality. But it worked. It was the world's first self-contained digital camera. Sasson proudly presented his invention to Kodak executives. Their reaction was a mixture of awe and profound discomfort. They grasped the implications immediately. They saw the potential, but they also saw the existential threat. One executive famously told Sasson, "That's cute, but don't tell anyone about it." The internal dilemma at Kodak was immense. They understood that digital technology would eventually replace film. They even had an internal study that predicted digital photography would largely displace film sales within a decade. But Kodak's entire business model, its vast infrastructure, its immense profitability, was built on film, not just selling film, but also chemicals, paper, and developing services. Digital photography offered none of that recurring revenue. It was, as some executives described it, like introducing a product that melted ice cubes for a company that sold ice. They knew the ice was going to melt anyway, but they couldn't bring themselves to be the ones to melt it faster. This fear of cannibalizing their incredibly lucrative film business became the central, paralyzing decision point for Kodak. They chose to protect the cash cow, delaying, minimizing, and mismanaging their lead in digital for years, hoping that the transition would happen slowly enough for them to adapt. It was a strategic gamble that would ultimately cost them everything. While Kodak deliberated and protected its film empire, the rest of the world caught up, and then surged ahead. Competitors, unburdened by a legacy film business, saw the clear path forward. Companies like Sony, Canon, and Nikon poured resources into digital camera development, rapidly improving resolution, speed, and user experience. They didn't have to worry about millions of jobs tied to chemical plants or film distribution networks. They simply innovated. Kodak's forays into digital in the 1990s and early 2000s were piecemeal and often hesitant. They produced some advanced digital cameras for professionals, even partnering with Nikon for a time, but they failed to capture the burgeoning consumer market they had once owned. Their digital consumer cameras were often too expensive, too late, or simply not as competitive as those offered by rivals. They focused heavily on digital printing services, a reasonable pivot, but one that couldn't replace the massive profits of film sales and processing. The true tipping point came with the rapid proliferation of the internet and, crucially, the camera phone. Suddenly, photography wasn't just about taking pictures, it was about instant sharing. Apple, with its iPhone, famously declared that the best camera is the one you have with you, making dedicated point-and-shoot cameras, a market Kodak had belatedly tried to enter, largely obsolete. Kodak's market share evaporated. Its financial woes mounted, leading to massive layoffs and plant closures, devastating its hometown of Rochester, New York. The company that had once embodied innovation became a cautionary tale of corporate inertia. They were brilliant at invention, but tragically inept at disruption. By 2012, after years of struggle, massive restructuring, and an inability to adapt to the speed of technological change, the once unassailable titan of photography, Eastman Kodak, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Emerging from bankruptcy in 2013, the new Kodak was a shadow of its former self, a vastly smaller entity focused on commercial printing, enterprise services, and materials science, having largely abandoned its consumer photography roots. It sold off thousands of patents, including many related to digital imaging, for hundreds of millions of dollars, a bitter irony for the company that had pioneered the field. The legacy of Kodak is complex and deeply poignant. It's a story not just about technology, but about human nature, corporate culture, and the brutal forces of innovation. Kodak gave the world the gift of accessible photography, profoundly changing how we capture and remember our lives. Its innovations in film and chemistry remain foundational. Yet, its ultimate downfall serves as a stark reminder of the innovator's dilemma: the very strength and success of an incumbent company can blind it to disruptive technologies that threaten its core business. Kodak had the foresight to invent the future of photography, but lacked the courage and vision to embrace it. It perfectly illustrates how fear of cannibalization can lead to organizational paralysis, ultimately allowing nimbler competitors to seize the very future an industry leader helped create. In an ever-accelerating world, where disruption is the norm, Kodak's story is a timeless lesson: innovate or be innovated upon. It's a testament to the fact that even the most iconic brands, with the richest histories, are not immune to the relentless march of progress. What are your memories of Kodak? Did you grow up with a Brownie camera, or remember the distinctive look of Kodachrome slides? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. If you found this journey through Kodak's rise and fall insightful, please give this video a like, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into business history, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next upload. Thank you for watching.